Jennifer Garner talks managing separate households with Ben Affleck. When a marriage ends, the story doesn't. Especially when children are involved. Today we're diving into how Jennifer Garner has spoken about managing separate households with her ex-husband Ben Affleck, and what that really means in practice. This isn't a story about scandal. It's not about Hollywood drama. It's about co-parenting, boundaries, growth, and emotional maturity. Because even after divorce, family doesn't disappear. It evolves. Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck met in the early 2000s, worked together, and eventually married in 2005. Over the next decade, they welcomed 3 children and built what appeared to be a grounded, family-oriented life, often choosing low-key routines over red carpets. But in 2015, after 10 years of marriage, they announced their separation. Their divorce was finalized in 2018. Unlike many high-profile splits, theirs was not marked by public mudslinging. Instead, they emphasized one thing consistently: their children come first. Jennifer Garner has spoken thoughtfully about the idea of running separate households while still raising the same children. Let's unpack that. Separate households doesn't just mean living in different homes. It means a different routines, a different parenting styles, a different schedules, a different emotional atmospheres, and yet, shared responsibility. Garner has acknowledged that co-parenting isn't always seamless. It requires communication, compromise, and sometimes swallowing pride. She's also emphasized something important. You cannot control the other household. You can only control your own. That perspective is powerful, because many divorced parents struggle not with logistics, but with differences. One of the strongest themes in Garner's interviews is boundaries. She has made it clear that she supports the father-child relationship, she does not interfere unnecessarily, she maintains her own standards in her own home. That's balance. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing cooperation over conflict. Garner has also said something deeply mature in past interviews, that she doesn't define her life by the breakup. Instead of framing the story as loss, she frames it as growth. That mindset affects children profoundly. Kids don't need perfect parents. They need emotionally regulated ones. Now imagine doing all of this in front of the world. Every outing photographed. Every co-parenting moment analyzed. Every rumor amplified. Garner has largely stayed quiet publicly, choosing dignity over reaction. That restraint matters. Because when parents speak negatively about each other, especially publicly, children eventually see it. By contrast, both she and Affleck have repeatedly expressed respect for one another as co-parents. That doesn't mean there weren't challenges. Ben Affleck has openly discussed his struggles with addiction and personal growth. During those periods, Garner reportedly supported stability for their children. But here's what's important. Support does not mean erasing boundaries. Garner helped when appropriate, but she also maintained structure. That's strength, not weakness. Over the years, both have moved forward romantically. Blended family dynamics can complicate separate households. New partners. New family traditions. New emotional adjustments for kids. Garner's approach appears rooted in minimizing drama and maximizing stability. She focuses on a school involvement, a daily routines, a emotional availability, a keeping life as normal as possible. And that consistency creates security. Psychologists often emphasize that post-divorce success hinges less on the divorce itself, and more on parental conflict levels afterward. Lower conflict equals better child outcomes. And from all public indications, Garner prioritizes low conflict. But let's be honest. Separate households can feel lonely. There are holidays divided, milestones shared, moments missed. Garner has spoken in past interviews about heartbreak and disappointment, but never bitterness. That distinction is crucial. Bitterness keeps you stuck. Heartbreak acknowledges pain but allows movement. She's also emphasized gratitude, for her children, for lessons learned, for growth. And growth is often the hidden theme in divorce stories. Ben Affleck himself has said in interviews that divorce was one of the biggest regrets of his life. But regret and responsibility are different things. Both appear to have taken ownership of their roles in the marriage ending. which allows for healthier co-parenting. So what does this teach us? Here are 5 takeaways. 1. Your ex is still your child's parent. Respect that role. 2. Control your household, not theirs. 3. Don't weaponize children. Ever. 4. Growth is possible after failure. 5. Dignity is powerful. Garner models something subtle but important. Strength without spectacle. She doesn't overshare. She doesn't publicly attack. She doesn't turn co-parenting into content. In an era of performative transparency, that restraint feels refreshing. Managing separate households isn't about pretending you're still a couple. It's about acknowledging you are no longer partners, but you are permanently connected. That requires emotional maturity, long-term thinking, and humility. Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck's story reminds us that divorce does not have to mean destruction. It can mean restructuring. It can mean recalibrating. It can mean rebuilding 2 healthy homes instead of 1 unhappy one. And perhaps that's what separate households truly means. Not separation from family, but separation from conflict. Welcome back to the show. Today we're diving into a topic that's relatable far beyond Hollywood, co-parenting after divorce, through the lens of Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. Specifically, we're talking about something Jennifer Garner has referred to as managing separate households. Now, that phrase sounds simple, but it carries a lot of emotional weight. So today we're unpacking what that really looks like, the logistics, the emotional intelligence, the boundaries, the public scrutiny, and what we can learn from it. Let's get into it. Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck married in 2005. They were together for about a decade and share 3 children. In 2015, they announced their separation. The divorce was finalized in 2018. Unlike many celebrity splits, theirs wasn't defined by dramatic interviews or public takedowns. Instead, it evolved into something that seems, at least publicly, cooperative. But cooperative doesn't mean easy. And that's where separate households becomes interesting. Because divorce isn't just emotional, it's structural. You're not just separating hearts. You're separating systems. When Garner talks about separate households, she's acknowledging a truth many divorced parents face. You can't control what happens in the other home. Different routines, different expectations, different bedtimes, different energy. And the hardest part? Accepting that difference without trying to micromanage it. From what Garner has expressed publicly, she focuses on what she can control. A stability, a structure, an emotional presence, a consistency. That's it. And psychologically, that's huge. Children adapt well to 2 homes when the emotional climate is stable. They struggle when there's tension between those homes. So separate households doesn't mean disconnected parenting. It means parallel parenting with communication. Point 1 thing that stands out about Jennifer Garner is restraint. She rarely criticizes Affleck publicly,